What's up, guys? So in this video, I'm going to be building this particular nutrition tracking application, basically. So underneath the food to get all the calorie information. I think I've done something like this on the web using N8N, but this is just going to be a mobile app. In this particular video, this is what I'm going to be doing. I just, browsing online, and then to pick up inspiration, basically. What I would have done if I don't have the design is to use Claude Code and paper MCP like I used the last time to come up with the design and then get it developed. But now, since there's already a design, I've captured the design and put it in a folder, very empty folder. And the next thing I need to create is, because I want this guy to be an end-to-end application that we can actually use. Probably it's going to have a database and a search, for instance. So you need to be able to store some of these nutrition informations somewhere, and that's why I'm creating a project in Firebase. So here I call it Calorie. I'm here to just create a project. So go ahead, open firebase.good.com and sign up. If you don't have an account, you just use your normal Gmail and get access, and then you create a project. So I'm just going to quickly create a project. I don't need Gemini for this guy. I actually don't need this guy, so I'm just going to create a project simply. All right, so what I've done underneath the hood is just to have my code editor, which is VS Code. Basically, we're going to be using Claude Code in this, so I'm going to set up my terminal and call Claude, initialize Claude here and accept I trust this folder, and with that we're kind of ready. Why I love to use it in the terminal here is because I should be able to see all my files without interference that we probably get when you're using it in the other side, right? Why that is happening, our project is being set up and the project is already done, so we'll click continue and it takes us inside the project. All right, I think the first thing I need to do is I need to add an application. I think one of the things I need is the Firebase firestore. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to enable firestore. Firestore is like just like type of database, or if you're familiar with more of like a JSON structured type of database where you don't need to do SQL queries, like MongoDB basically. Standard edition, select database. I'm going to do this database ID and location. Meanwhile, you can't actually change this, so I'm just going to do with default. I'm going to go with test mode because I need to be able to access this guy for now. So these are like principal regular setup that you probably have to do to get your stuff done and then ready for collection. I'm going to add an application, and I'm going to do Flutter. I have multiple Firebase accounts, which can actually cause confusion. So the best bet is for me is to add this guy manually. Right now I have iOS simulator, and I'm going to just add the iOS first. So I'm going to do this com the FIXLAB.calorie. So I don't have this guy yet. So what we're trying to do is to register the application and get some info.plist file. You can see that I can download the Google service info.plist, and this particular file now is what I need to actually, I'll move this file to project folder once it's all done, right? So I'm going to leave it here and go ahead. The AI is going to handle every other thing here. These are just basic files. So I'm going to add Android as well, just so we have everything. So I'm going to download these two files. I've downloaded the Android, the iOS one, and you can see that I'm having like Google service info is going to handle the movement eventually later. So I'm just going to rename this guy to remove the one, since it's the only file here now. So I'm ready now to tell the AI what it needs to do. First of all, you have to be very in-depth in your instruction so that you'll be able to get exactly what you're looking out for. So that is how I'm going to go ahead and create the prompt, and let's do it. All right, Claude, so we're building a nutrition application, or kind of a calorie counter. The screenshot is attached, so it has, from the design, about 3 screens. But it could actually have more, because we have the home screen, the search, the scan, the calendar, and then the profile. We're going to be using Firebase to do this. So I want you to scaffold the application using Flutter. We're going to be using strictly clean architecture, so ensure that the code is robust. It's non-negotiable. It's going to be robust and follow solid principle and clean architecture. which means we're going to have the domain layer, the data layer, and the presentation layer. We will never have to mix logic inside the UI. We're going to be using freezed for state annotation. We're going to be using Riverpod for notifiers to handle business logic. No business logic should be in the UI. So the UI will strictly handle UI related stuff. So clean architecture, that's what we're going to be doing. Ensure you follow this guide judiciously and build out these. We're using Firebase. I've added the two Firebase config file for Android and iOS in the root folder. So when you scaffold the application, you move them to their respective locations where they need to be. Look at the image. The image is reference. Ensure that you follow this color exactly and make sure that the app is solid. So let's do that. All right, so you can see here I've pasted about 11 lines of instruction to Claude Code here, right? So I'm going to just give it a go now and let it scaffold. If you had any other questions, it's probably going to ask me, but this is just how I start. All right, so for the image analysis, you're going to be using OpenAI image analysis to look at the image to be able to extract the image, the calorie information and everything. I'm going to be adding a secret.json file that will have the OpenAI API key. Remember never to expose my secret, just read it from the file and never echo it back to me. So I'm going to hit enter now and let's chill and see. So right now it's checking some of the primary information that I provided. The config file is looking for the secret.json. I've never created that yet, so it's probably just going to handle everything. I already gave it the direction on what you need to do, so to figure out the rest of the work. So olive green, sage green, primary color, off-white green. So everything is coming together. He's already seen my package name, which is called the PHIXLAB Calorie, and Firebase project is this. So now I'll scaffold the full Flutter application with strict clean architecture. This is a large task, spawning an agent to build it out. So spawning an agent means that it's going to spawn multiple agents to actually help do this job while I chill, right? So let's see. So right now, one of the things that I'm actually seriously into is trying to sell more. I think building has been democratized by AI. One of the things that is very critical now for people to do more is to sell, right? So that's why I'm more interested right now in trying to sell what you build. You can see it's already scaffolded. You can see a lot of code coming in the left side of the panel. So selling is actually trying to get people to use the product. We launched one product last month. That's May 1st. So you can also go check it out if you're in Nigeria watching this. Is a platform that helps you to be able to connect with professional accountants for whatever type of accounting job that you want them to help you to do. It's powered by AI agents. Our AI agent is trained with about 250 pages of tax, the new tax law, and he knows everything about the tax, and he can give you word to word sections and subsections and acts where that guy is applicable to you, right? So this is me selling that product to you because we need people like accountants. We want more accountants to get enrolled in the platform so that they can be able to serve people when people start making demands. Where you can see that the guy is seriously working. My job is just to keep saying yes and accepting whatever proposition that is giving me. So guys, let's check out this. I'm going to look out for, so you can see it's moved this Google service JSON into this folder, which is for Android. Normally you would have done that I'll have to do it myself, but I don't want to do that. I just need AI to take care of it. Yeah, I made a mistake. I was supposed to accept that guy, but I made a mistake. So if you've written the secret.json, Android is going to find it inside runner, then Google service JSON. So eventually I'm going to remove these guys eventually later because I already seen that it's added it into where it's supposed to be. One of the good things with AI, you can see how fast he was able to get up to this point. If I'm doing this manually, it's easy to go to market right now. Like I said, you can build that stuff very fast if you have background already in technical stuff. But if you don't have background, you can always reach out if you want to do something like this and then you have issues. You can join our Telegram channel and Telegram group, and also maybe ask other people that have experience or leave a comment. I can always give you a shot. If we even need to book a call, it's perfectly okay. So right now you can see that we already have the features, the auth. So this is clean architecture in play here. clean architecture is that we break stuff into different modules. Let me collapse this guy and show you, because I have a reason why I did that. So you can see it has features, activity, auth, home, profile, scanner, shared. Very clean. The shared is reusable in almost all the features of the application. You can see home, this is profile for here, this is auth for handling authentications, activity is probably all the stuff that is happening. So, and then the core will just have to be the nuts and bolts that sets up the application. So it's done inside core, config, errors, network, router, team, tails. So this is how this is configured. You can see inside here now we have app config, OpenAI API key. All right, so I'm also going to tell it to use from environment. So that's how I want it to read the OpenAPI key. Constant, he has the app colors now, he has the constant files, user, food, super clean. So this is the kind of code I would love to come back to and read later. Errors, exceptions, failures. All right, so for each section now you have 3 folders: data, domain, presentation. Right, so inside presentation you have like providers, which is from Riverpod. You have screens there, you have widgets. Inside domain you normally have like use cases, repositories, and entities. Inside data, you have data sources, models, and repositories. Very clean, best practices in building clean applications. So this is an opportunity for you to go grab a coffee, and you can see that it's doing the data source, food log, remote data source, food log, repository implementation, home state. So this state is going to handle, go to home, in presentation, home provider. It's written a lot of code already. So pretty much in this kind of situation, you'll probably be able to get application done in hours, unlike what will probably take you like months. If you know what you're doing and you know all the necessary things that you need to do, so it's quite easy to get this guy done. So pretty much, let's see how it goes. So you can see now it's in profile model. So it's gone far already. Scaffold, Flutter, Calorie. I would say it's doing a lot already. So we've gone through home. I think everything in home is probably done. See in profile now. It's doing even the scanner. Yeah, as you can see, you're a nutrition expert. You're a nutrition expert analyzing food images. Given image of food, respond with a JSON object containing the nutrition information. Return only valid JSON in this format: food name, total calories, carb mean, carb max, protein mean, protein max, food fat mean, fat serving size, one plate, description, stuff. So eventually I'm probably going to add how to make the meal, so maybe like recipes to make and recommendations if possible. So this application is not going to just be a random app. We're going to be using it, we're going to test it, so you're going to be able to run the app and see how it works. So first of all, what it does is that it picks the image from the image and basically encode it, and then passes the image to ChatGPT GPT-4o, and then the system prompt uses this guy, and the image URL is the MIME type base64. We're very close, and pretty much the app has been scaffolded, aside from the errors that I could even manually resolve, but yeah, I will handle everything. So right now it's going to the UI now, so it's doing the loading widgets, error widgets. So it's working on the presentations, full detection overlay. Let's see what's in the share. Okay, the share widget, we have this calorie scaffold, the loading widget, and the error widget. So these are like shared stuff that, you know, errors, they all can appear in everywhere. So you can see it's gone far. So it's doing Flutter pub get. Now I'm going to accept. So let me check the pub spec and see. It's added the Firebase core, Firebase auth, Cloud firestore, storage. Yeah, that's another thing that I forgot to mention. So the Firebase storage is necessary because the image will probably be uploaded somewhere, and I'm not sure if Firebase also supports by default now if you're not on the Spark plan to be able to upload something, and we'll figure that out. That's just one constraint that we might have, and it's not an issue. Right, guys, so if you stay here and you love what we're doing, I think this is the best time for you to probably give it a like, subscribe if you've not subscribed. YouTube actually said that a lot of people that watch my videos have not subscribed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. For you to be able to enjoy the benefits of AI, you must actually know how to prompt it. The prompting is the number one thing. For instance, if you don't understand what I did with the prompting, got the instruction that I gave it, you might not get the same kind of result I'm getting. The prompting is one of the biggest things that you need to understand. And again, if you're using Claude Code, understand the power of skills. Skills is actually like a way you tailor the AI to understand how the project you're working on is, and it builds a blueprint for it, and then it's going to use that blueprint. I literally use all the tools I have. Anti-gravity, if I one of the projects I launched, my go-to tool then in that project was anti-gravity. Scale works across board, so also set up skills for anti-gravity, set up skills for Claude Code, and even set up skills for Cursor. I use Cursor as well. I use almost these three products for different projects, basically. So maybe the next project I'm going to be building, I'm going to be using Cursor to do that. So I'm going to be building a lot of stuff just to give you different applications that you can go test out. I'll probably upload it in Play Store and understand how to actually upload to Play Store. Play Store is cheap, so it's easy to try out that maybe iOS, because in iOS you probably have to spend $100 per year, but in Android you could just buy $25 lifetime access. So if you have an idea, you've been trying to be short, this is an opportunity for you to do that. You can see that the error is disappearing bit by bit. So some of these errors are actually import errors. I'm going to go ahead and check them out, see this, what I would do. State, screens, pretty much everything, all the errors are gone. So probably when it does the check again, it's going to find that it's all done. So we've actually resolved all the errors. So all was missing was just import statement. So the next level of action is going to try to run the app myself. So I'm going to make a new terminal here. We'll call it plotter run. So let's hang on and see if the application runs on the simulator. Once we get the application running on the simulator, I'm going to take a break, then we'll come back. We'll start trying to see if we can get the application to work as expected in terms of the UI that we gave him, which is this guy. So we ensure that the reference image, that what we're seeing on the screen will match this guy. But first of all, is to get the application ready first. All right, so the build is almost done. So probably supposed to see the application launch right now. All right, so you can see we have Calorie here and the app is running. So, but you can see there was an exception here. Firebase app has not been correctly initialized. So I need to give him this error so that it figures it out. So that's why we're having the white screen. All right, so let's rewind a bit. We had a little bit of issue where the app is not running. And that was due to because I've not been able to, we did not set up the authentication, like I said. So if you go back, this is exactly what I did. The sign-in method here, we add a provider, and then you make sure that this guy is enabled. So once you enable email and password and ensure that it's enabled, then assuming that we're trying to use Google login to actually get access to the application, that would also be another option that we'll do. But we are just going to enable this guy, and it's already enabled inside my Firebase, and I've been able to actually give you the test. So ensure that. So if you go back here, you can see that I have email and password, and I think the guy's email is Jado. So I'm going to try to log in now. Jado@hotmail.com. Password is password1. So let's try to log in again. So right now you can see that we are logged in, right? So this is John. Go to the profile, you can see this is John Doe and j.yopmail.com. So pretty much the app is running and will have the skeletal stuff, but it doesn't look exactly like what we want to do, but it's very close. And also I've gone ahead to add an image to the simulator. So I got this image so that I'm going to be able to use it to kind of test what we've built so far. And again, I've also added the OpenAI API key into my secret.json file. So for you to be able to test this when you get the code base, you should be able to go to your OpenAI and get an API key and plug it into so you create a secret.json file in the root of the project and then you run the application. You should be able to test the AI feature. So let's go ahead and test that now. So if I go to this tab, before we start making some cosmetic changes by trying to make sure that the guy is actually looking exactly like our reference image, which is just cosmetics, but the basic thing we're trying to do now is to make sure that the guy is running. So I'm going to choose from gallery instead of taking a picture. The reason I'm doing the gallery feature is because I'm actually on the simulator. So if I'm actually using a real device, I'll probably want to snap something to test. Let me choose this guy. So let's pick this image, and so you can see right away that we have something from the image. So you can see this is a roasted chicken with vegetable, one plate, approximately 400 grams. Total calorie is about 550. Carbs is about 40 to 50 grams, 35 to 45 grams of protein, 20 to 30 grams of fat. So I'm going to just click on add to log. What could I call this? Probably just do this guy as lunch. So I said this guy has been added. So go back to, you can see that we have a total of 550 calories, carbs, protein, and if I go to activity, I will probably have something here in the activity for today. So you can see by this time I have this guy and this is the stuff. So if we go back to our image reference right here, you can see there are tracks here by date and time, and then total calorie and stuff like that. So this is what we have: roasted chicken with vegetable on this date. So if we do more, let's probably download another image. I'm gonna do breakfast image. Let's do this guy. So save to desktop again, then I'll go to my app. I'll try to push this guy again to sorry, it's been duplicating. So I'm going to go back and try to add a second item. So I'm going to go from gallery, pick this breakfast that we just did, and let's get the analysis again. You can see on the logs here that it's using chat completion from OpenAI here. Full English breakfast. So one plate, approximately 500 grams. Total calories is 800 kilocalories. Carbs is this. I can also add it to the logs as breakfast, and then it's added. If I go back here, you can see that we have a total of 1,350 calories consumed today. Maybe that was breakfast and lunch, and you can see breakfast. For breakfast, this is what we had: full English breakfast, 800 calorie total. Lunch is this. So we've not had dinner or snacks. Pretty good, right? This is very, very useful. Actually, nothing was implemented for the search. Maybe we can ignore it for now, but you can see that this is actually making sense. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the database so I can see what we have so far. Come back to our Firebase, now go to firestore. So you can see that we have users, and for each user, there's going to be a food log collection. For this particular user now, there's food log collections, and today they have different meals, and for each meal they have this particular total calories for it, and for each of them we have all this individual information, right? So right now we're not probably storing the images and stuff, but pretty much you can see that this is working as expected. So we've worked on this for maybe hour or so, and we've been able to achieve this. And like I said, this application is very useful, so I'm going to get it done end to end, polish it well. And before we go, let's actually get back to our terminal and give it something to do. I'm going to tell that the image we have is not, the design we have currently is not matching. So let it kind of make sure that the presentation looks exactly like what we have, especially when we're trying to capture something. You should have, well, you can see that right here. I think probably because we're not storing image on the cloud yet, and that's why this image is not showing here, but I believe it probably have handled. So, but we want to make sure that it clones exactly these designs. All right, so I'm going to capture this design. I'm also going to capture the home screen. And then I'm going to make a reference. Make sure the design is a clone of screenshots. All right. By color and layout. Right, so that's just what I want to issue again to the guy so that it reflects exactly what we want, and then we can make changes. And then I'm going to ensure that because looking at the calendar here, the calendar here is full month. So I want to ensure that the guy is 1 week basically. So show our calendar view. Calendar is 1 week. All right, for both activity screen and also the capture card floating like image. So pretty much this is just enough for what I want us to have, and you can see that app is already working. We have this information being stored on a database, which means, and it's multi-user, which means if this application is probably on Play Store, you can use it, your friend can use it, any member of your family can use it, and everybody is actually having this guy independent because they have unique accounts tied to tied to themselves basically. Everything has been handled, both the relationship and stuff. So Firebase has handled that. That's one of the sweet things about Firebase and any of those backend services like Firebase and Superbase. So you don't need to handle the database yourself, and everything works out of the box. So that's pretty much it. As long as it ensures that the design comes up like we want, there's a lot of improvements which I'm going to do behind the scene after to make sure that probably get a different color from this. Probably I'm going to shift to a different color, and you guys can retain this color or actually come up with your own color, just so that we have a different look and feel if you decide to get the source code. All right, we've been able to get something working, and we're using clean architecture like I mentioned. Very important, so that later when I want to go back to the code base, I should be able to kind of maintain the code right for a very long time. So guys, I'm going to give it a time to make those changes, and we're going to refresh the code to see how better it actually came. And eventually I'm going to decide to probably add these images that it captured, and because it's going to eventually handle uploading it to Firebase. If you look at this place, we have storage. Go to storage, so but I believe you have to be on the upgraded plan before you'll be able to use that. I believe that's why probably we were not able to upload. So if you upgrade to Spark plan, I believe your upload should be able to work, or if you're using a new Gmail account, possibly. But all the same, we have a working application using Claude Code and Firebase, and we'll be able to do this in a space of hours. So let's just give it a few minutes to conclude the making changes right now on the calendar. Remember, if you're looking at to build out any application and you need guide, if you can vibe code it, very fantastic, right? So if you have issue, you can always get into our Telegram channel, or you reach out and we can have one-on-one. If you also want to build a very standard application that you want people to use, that's what we do here at PHIXLAB. You can always check out our website and see all the product that we're actually helping other people do. You can see the change now. He was even able to effect this design, was able to do that, and that looks very amazing. So you can see that it was able to cut out these very menu, and it's floating now on top, the activity and everything. This is also nice. So you can see on this data I have two design. I think it's pretty much better right now. I'm going to ask it to, okay, this is my daily goal, is 2000 calories is my goal, but it's probably not updated here. I'm going to do that afterwards, but you can have, just to avoid this video being too long, but being able to achieve this, if you have the code base now and you have Claude Code in your system, you can actually enhance this to a greater extent and do whatever you want to do. So the essence of this video is actually how to 10x your build time with Claude Code and actually prompting it well. So that's pretty much what we've been able to achieve in these very ones. So lunch, breakfast. So if you want to add something more to this guy, you would be able to just click here and it takes you to this place. So that would be all, guys. And if you watch up to this point, it's the best time to actually like the video, comment, and share, and subscribe, most importantly, so that I can have understand that you guys actually like the video, and then we can actually keep making more videos. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one.